Hi, I'm Jim Bergen, pastor at Holy Cross Lutheran Church in Houston, Texas. This is Pentecost, the second Sunday for June the 6th, 21. Questions. At first glance, today's lesson seems a little jumpy. With argumentative scribes and a crowd of people, there's a section on Beelzebul, the Lord of the Flies, as it's translated in Hebrew. Demons, Satan, how exciting! And Jesus' family is in the mix as well. Why? It's a devil sandwich, and it's going to be eaten up by Jesus. Mark is ingenious in his writing ability. The best thing about the whole book are the questions. This theme for today is consistently framed in each section. Crowd, family, scribes. In the middle, parables of Satan's defeat. In scribes, family, and crowd. Jesus' conflict with his family frames the account of his conflict with the religious establishment. The center of it all is the conflict with Satan, the father of all doubts and lies and the forces of evil. Watch out. Jesus is coming to plunder Satan's house. Finish him off with both stealth and strong force. Poor devil doesn't stand a chance. I'm reminded of a song by John Campbell. The words are, I taught the hellhound to sit, cheated Satan playing cards, pulled my knife on the devil when he tried to tempt my heart. I ain't afraid of midnight, dancing past that old graveyard. Bring on the hooded bugler, he can sound his taps for me. But when the reaper comes, he'd best be packing heat, 'cause I ain't afraid of midnight, dancing past that old graveyard. This conflict with the devil starts in the wilderness temptation, and it will continue all the way through the Gospel of Mark, along with all the questions people ask, at all the places where Jesus publicly fields these sketchy questions. Satan will end up losing so completely that it appears that he's totally won, succeeded at the crucifixion. And Jesus will be dancing out of that old graveyard. Remember, crowd, family, scribes, defeat of evil, scribes, family, crowd. In the public forum, the controversies that Jesus were involved in were confrontations with the scribes. They involved questions to Jesus served up with lethal intent. They are not seeking information. Their questions are weapons. They are intended to embarrass Jesus, compromise him, and degrade his honor status, his caste ranking. They are called in Greek kreia. It's the challenge riposte form of debate. It's a form of public speaking taught in the equivalent of graduate schools of the day, both Greek and Hebrew. And now you see. The scribes think Jesus is dumb because he comes from Galilee. What they don't know is that he speaks and writes fluent Greek, has studied all of the Greek philosophers along with all of the Torah, and even occasionally will adapt a speech that everyone would remember from a former emperor and twist the words into irony and strong new messages. Jesus' best tactic was to answer questions with questions. Mark 10:2. Well, is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife? Jesus answers, what did Moses say? It's like, you are the law experts. Why don't you know? They answered, Moses said, divorce her. Jesus said, he wrote that because of your hardness of heart. Bam, boom, gotcha. Everybody knows they lost that one. Jesus rules, scribes drool. Mark 2:16. Why do you eat with unclean people like tax collectors and sinners? Jesus answers, you're perfect. You don't need a doctor. I go to sick sinners who do. Bam, boom, gotcha. gotcha. Mark 11:28. Who authorized you to do miracles? Jesus. Who authorized John the Baptist, God or people? The scribes have a committee meeting, which means they already lost. If we say God, Jesus will ask, why don't we believe then? And if they say the people get mad and riot. So they say, we don't know. Bam, boom, gotcha. Questions are weapons. Jesus wins the Olympic decathlon for asking questions which silence his opponents. Second paragraph of the Declaration of Independence starts, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That wasn't Thomas Jefferson's first draft. It said, we hold these truths to be sacred and undeniable. Benjamin Franklin and the Committee of Five, which included John Adams, changed sacred and undeniable to self-evident. On second thought, Jefferson saw that as a wise improvement. Everyone has a different understanding of sacred, what sacred is. And undeniable, anybody can deny anything. It was too squishy linguistically, too ambiguous. But the word self-evident puts it right in our lap. Anyone who rejects a self-evident truth denies their own ability to think and reason, and is therefore a fool or a knave. That's precisely what the founders wanted to say about anyone who opposed this Declaration of an Independence. It's self-evident. If you don't know it, you don't know yourself. Jefferson appreciated the polemical force of that term, and he used it often. This is exactly the communication skill that Jesus used. The scribes were the God people. Their inability to conduct a civilized, godly conversation with the Son of God puts them up against God himself, as if they were non-believers, which apparently they proved themselves to be. Jesus' fame is spreading. He's being challenged and plotted against. Their first line of attack is to discredit him as ignorant in front of the crowds, because without the backing of the crowds, he'll go away, or so they think. The crowds are so large that he can't even eat or sleep. His family is trapped in their quarters. Jesus cornered for display. The scribes, like the devil in the wilderness, introduced doubt. As they address Jesus in kind of the crowd by proxy, well, he's either crazy or he's possessed by an evil spirit. Or he could be possessed by God's spirit. The answer is option C, Jesus, the Son of God, carrying God's Spirit. So this means that the scribes are self-evidently cutouts, stand-ins, proxies for Satan. This is revolutionary literature. So we survey the crowd, the family, and the scribes. Satan is in the middle. The scribes have been judged. Now we go back to family. His family's not attacking Jesus. They wish to protect him, to nurture him, to save him from the crowds and the scribes, feed him, get him some rest, a crazy schedule, defend his honor, and then the family's honor status as well. How Jesus does is life or death for the family, for the whole tribe, for the territory of Galilee. But they can't even see Jesus, much less get to him to circle the wagons. And it finishes with the crowd. Jesus asks a benevolent and leading question, full of grace. Who are my mother and my brothers? Nobody wants to get verbally horsewhipped like Jesus did to the scribes just then. A pregnant silence. precedes Jesus' wide and beautiful smile at the crowd. You are my mother and brothers. You do the will of God, and you are my brother and sister and mother. We are the family that together is tying up and dismantling Satan. We are the free family of God. Any questions? Amen.